Hello and welcome to the Backroads. Now today you're going to be watching a little bit of a different video to what you're normally used to on a Friday. This is a nice sit down podcast style video with myself and Lewis from Takona. Now this is going to be 20 minutes of an hour and 20-minute video. You can watch the rest on Takona's socials. That's at Takona Official on Twitter, Facebook and Instagram, I believe. And I will chuck a link down below to when that video is officially live so you can go back and watch that in the future. So without further ado, I hope you enjoy.
I mean, I don't have a standard intro either. Like, I just get cracking.
Okay.
And then we just go, right, I guess we're cracking. And then it's way more fun. So we could go like, and then a van hit me. And then go. And then we'll talk about it. I'm joined today by Liam from the Backroads. We've got his 944 at Coffees and Cars after 2 years of him trying and 3 months of me asking.
Yes.
But this car has effectively coined Charity Corner with Ludin Classic.
It is the birth of Charity Corner, that's for sure.
It's where the Renault currently is. It's where the 86 got its coilovers done. It's what has currently been residing there for 2 years, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely kind of claimed that corner, even with all the parts that are still there. But it was sort of a case that we bought the car and it immediately broke. So it immediately went to Luke's on the back of the flatbed, and it never returned for 2 years.
God.
So,
but she's on the road. She's got an MOT.
yes,
Her lights work. They pop up.
they do.
The wipers are currently zip tied on, which is great.
Yeah, they broke this morning.
So go through the history of the car, and if you feel comfortable, the car that predecessor to this car.
I mean, I'm more than happy to speak about that these
Fantastic.
days. So essentially, I bought the car in 2019. Bought it for £4,600 from a chap that lives on the coast. I believe it was actually around Cornwall, so it was quite a drive to go and get it. He essentially basically wanted to sell the car because he couldn't give it the attention it deserved. It hadn't driven for 2 years because he was looking after his dad. So it was kind of time for him to move that on. But the interesting thing is that although that's done 149,000 miles, it's only done 4,000 of them in the last 20 years since 2004.
I didn't know that.
It's not actually done much this sort of century, really. It's quite weird to
Since
say.
Jared was born, this car has done 4,000 miles.
Yeah. That puts it into perspective. So yeah, basically this has done only 4,000 miles since Jared was born.
Jared's probably walked more than 4,000 miles in the last 20 years.
I mean, I hope so.
So he's walked further than that car has driven.
It's driven in the last 20 years. Bought it as sort of a little project. We drove it back from Cornwall. It broke right before the Dartford Bridge.
Perfect.
Completely cut out. Turns out that to be a sensor at the back. I think it was the crank sensor at the rear.
Okay.
That basically became loose, and like nothing had clips on them. It was all just.
So it's not like you could just pop it in and off you go.
So
you needed more of your Save the Hero bands in the car. You could just wrap them.
Yeah. I guarantee that is probably from like 2004. That's been on the car.
We found actually this morning we found a Save the Vultures like charity band.
Thyroid UK.
Yeah. Holding the windscreen.
Kind of gives you a bit of that's all you need for the history of the car, really. Save the Vultures and Thyroid UK on some rubber bands, and you already know
that's
what
what's
you're
holding the car together. That's the history of that.
So I bought it as a bit of a project. I kind of knew I was getting into a project when I bought it. But
did Luke know this?
Yes, he was aware of what was wrong with it, but we didn't quite realise to the extent of really how much love it needed. Because the guy had been driving it around, so if you're driving a car, normally it means that majority of the parts are okay and functioning, but I mean it's just been you find one thing and another 3 things take its place as soon as you fix it. So I mean the first thing that we did was we did the timing belts, and by we I mean Jonas.
Yep.
Because I'm not touching timing belts at all.
I got into my brakes because I'm not touching brakes.
I mean, brakes I can do now.
The lines, I mean.
Okay, the lines, fair enough, yeah.
If it's brake fluid, not touching.
Yeah. You can do all the pumping, all the bleeding. So that was the first thing that happened, and the water pump was done with that as well. So brand new water pump brand new timing belts. Then we did the clutch master and slave cylinder, so it now changes gear, which is good. We did think it actually needed a new clutch, but this is where it gets a little bit confusing. So the clutch is really weird because it feels like it's a brand new clutch, but it doesn't act like it's a brand new clutch.
Oh, that is really weird.
So, the biting point is like an inch off the floor. So you literally just need to tap.
Oh, you're off.
You're off. You're on your way, which is great if you're going stop-start traffic because all you have to do is just it's nothing. But it just felt really weird the way that the gearbox was acting. So we've changed gearbox oil. We changed all of the clutch master and slave cylinder, and it does change gear nicely now. Gear linkage is gone, pretty much. It's literally, you can tap it and it'll go in the middle, which is quite fun. What else is wrong? There's a whirring from when you depress the clutch, so clearly there's some bearings that are on the way out. And the torque tube bearings are on the way out as well. So
these all sound like really easy jobs.
Yes, Jonas was very happy when he found out to do a clutch you need to take the entire gearbox and assembly out.
I'm sure he loved that.
So, it's... The problem is with these 944s is that for years they just weren't loved because they were a poor man's Porsche.
Yeah.
They weren't the 911, they weren't the 911 Turbo or the 964, 993, whatever you want to call it. So they were just unloved right up until kind of maybe 2010.
Yeah.
You could pick them up for less than $1,000 in pretty decent condition.
Yeah, I think we've got some struggling.
We've got some.
Which is always going to happen if you start recording anywhere.
Oh no, absolutely.
We could be in the middle of a field, out in the countryside, click record, and then a farm would appear.
Yes. Because people just know when there's a camera about.
Yeah.
They want to be involved.
And if we have 2 cameras about, that's it.
Double the trouble. But you can just about still see 944 in the background, which is good.
An E36 just went past one.
Yeah, it was very nice. I noticed that as soon as I was turning my head round. The cars were unloved for so long. So the problem is that so many of them have got like glaring issues where they just haven't been maintained correctly.
Yeah.
That now when they're starting to become valuable and people want them because they're actually a really good car.
Yeah.
That you've got all these issues that you're now chasing. That, for crying out loud, it's had, the bands to bloody fix the window wipers. And,
it's not even a joke, is it? It's an actual...
It is a genuine, Help the Hero style...
Yeah.
Style rubber...
I'll have to get a photo of it to snip into the video because it genuinely is.
Yeah, that kind of stuff is all over the car because clearly for over the years, then they weren't worth spending the, 200 quid that you'd have to get the original part from Porsche.
Yeah.
So just bodge it.
It's Porsche parts for a car that wasn't getting Porsche love.
Status, yeah. And that was the issue. And you've got to remember back then, those parts didn't even have heritage status.
Yeah.
So they were like full price.
Could you not just get Volkswagen parts?
You can for some.
Right.
You can for some. So for stuff like interior switches, mirrors, seat belts, that kind of stuff, you can for sure. Engine parts a lot more difficult because
that was a Colt, mate.
That was a Colt that had that exhaust.
Yeah, making all that noise.
It's probably a blown exhaust.
It was pretty big bore, I'm not going to lie.
Oh, it was an actual.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Oh, we've not seen. So normally there's a Toyota Hiace people carrier, and they've taken the word Hiace literally, and it's about 3 foot off the floor on big off-road tyres. And it comes amazing. Normally on a Sunday when we do Cars and Coffee, it comes past, and I'm always really wanting it to try and take a corner quickly just to see what happens. I just really want to see what happens.
Just roll over.
Something with the centre of gravity so high up around a corner. Not happened yet. Really disappointed.
That's annoying. Maybe they have to do that if they listen.
Yeah, if they ever see this video. Yeah, we'll crash our car for you. But yeah, so back to the...
It is a problem where, sourcing parts.
Yeah.
Porsche are really good at doing like the mechanical side, so gearbox, engine, suspension, you don't have to ever worry. As soon as you try and get interior parts, good luck. I've been trying to source new switches for the centre console for ages, not because they're broken, but because the decals have faded.
Oh, yeah.
So it's those little details that actually make the car feel like more premium.
Yeah, of course.
So trying to find those, no chance at all.
And then all the ones that you want are going to be on the cars that were loved and are now worth money.
Yeah, I mean, decent condition S2s with that mileage are now going for 15 grand.
That's mad, isn't it? Well, you've got yourself an investment for the future at least.
I mean, yeah, you can definitely call it that.
I hope the GT86 gets the same status as mine will sometime one day be worth some money again.
It might be waiting a while.
I'm hoping it gets S14 love and then they go back up a bit more.
Yeah.
Because they are similar kind of...
Similar sorts, yeah.
Like rear-wheel drive, front engine, JDM, boy, drift car.
JDM, yo.
Yeah.
All that sort of stance station stuff.
Plus when Takona takes off, if that ever happens, that's the Takona car. So
that is the Takona
It'll be like the Paul Smith Mini or like... I mean, this is all...
I suppose that's what we're doing with the MR2 and the 944, is that they've sort of become brand ambassadors. When you think TBR, you don't actually necessarily think myself and Jared, you think the 944 MR2.
Yeah.
Straight away.
It's like Alex's MX-5, isn't it? Everybody knows the MX-5 because it's Alex's from Carthrall.
Yeah.
So that intrinsically gives it some value.
Yeah, well, and also the V6 it's got, and the
does help.
It's not exactly a cheap build, really, is it?
No, he's put some work in.
Yeah, so it's that sort of status we eventually want to do with this car, and to be honest, it isn't actually going to be too much money to do that.
Yeah.
The great thing about it is because it's S2, it's the top of the line model. You could say the Turbo S is the top of the top, but the S2 was kind of the final edition sort of thing before they went to the 968. So it's never going to lose value ever.
Yeah.
It can't lose value now. So whatever we do to it will be consistent with the market value of the car.
No, that makes sense.
So we're really lucky in that sense that although I've spent about, I think it's only $1,500 in 2 years on fixing the car, I haven't lost that money in asset value.
It's now worth $6,000, so it's okay to have spent that.
So yeah, it's definitely been a fun adventure so far. Obviously we've been filming the restoration for over 2 years now. We first filmed in, is it 2020 we did the first video? It might have been 2020 actually. So it will be two years next year. But that's been a really good adventure. That's been sort of the main growth of the channel, has been around the 944.
Yeah.
And then obviously when we introduced the MR2, that was then a second sort of whole group of people that came in, because you've now got
grab the JDM
Porsche and the JDM guys. And
so you guys can go to Jap versus German together. Just turn up in one of these.
Yeah, Axis powers.
Just hope Jared's MR2 doesn't dive into you unintentionally.
Yeah. It does seem to happen. But fantastic car. Really, really is. And to be honest with you, even though it's 80s Porsche, still drives really well. Still feels very modern.
Yeah.
It's got anti-lock. It's got all of the creature comforts you want. Heat is amazing. When they work, the air conditioning is amazing. So really, really good cars. And definitely, if you want one, get one now, because they are skyrocketing. And if you don't buy one now, you will forever regret it. Just saying.
It's like being told to get an E30 BMW 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Get an E30. No, I'll wait. Now they're 10 grand. You're like, oh, great.
Minimum. For like
a
318.
Yeah. I posted about that place in Sudbury where there's all basically just sat in a yard BMWs, and everybody saw that. Oh, where do I get them? Who do I call? And then nobody's bought them because they're really expensive.
Yeah.
Because they're just so sought after. And I think the guy kind of thinks they're still worth what he paid for them, like off the shelf. He's like, 30 grand, please. Like,
no, not really.
318 with like the paint fading and things hanging off and rust holes.
But that's the thing, is that there's particular cars that do that. So you've got
classic minis,
because of their status and heritage. Mark II Escort, Mark I Escort, AE86.
Yeah.
It's not actually an amazing car. It's just initial D, and all the drifters wanted them, so price goes up.
And pop-up headlights.
And pop-up headlights. Mark 1 MX-5, getting there. Not far off. Getting to that point. E36.
They're getting there, yeah.
To a similar extent, very, very early on, E46 is now getting that status.
Yeah.
Slowly.
The M3, of course, already has it.
Oh, that's gone already, but the rest of them are slowly rising with it because, well, the saloons, not as much, touring's not as much, coupes right now, manual coupes in good condition.
What's yours?
Coupe.
So there's a 30 as well? No.
Mine's 325 CIM Sport, that one.
So
that was a...
You need to just stop driving all of your cars and just put them away somewhere.
I mean,
you can't keep it in charity corner because I think Dennis will murder it.
He will, absolutely, he will. He probably already does.
He'll burn it and just give you the money that you paid for it. Here's £6,000. I've burnt your car so that you're not here anymore.
Yeah, no, I mean, bless him. It's great when we used to have like Dennis write notes on the whiteboard, clean it up. Yeah,
I think I inadvertently contributed to his frustration with your use of that space by turning up and putting things away.
Yeah. I mean, for us, it was just a case that because each weekend we were continuously going back. You know, we were working on projects that were in between stages. So,
we need this for next weekend.
So we need to put that there. We need all the tools that are next to it there, sort of thing. Because unlike the rest of the workshop, which is constantly
job in, job out,
and they know where all their tools are. For us, it's like you've got 7 days in between each time you can do something. So yes, tidying up is obviously really important, but we only normally did that once a job was completed. So once the clutch was done, then everything would be tidied away again onto the next job. Everything would be tidied away again. So
you told him that?
I think he's maybe worked it out because we finished the job and then everything went back to being pristine again.
He's like, oh, they can put things up.
Yeah, it was just that particular job was taking ages to do. I think what was that we were doing? I think we were actually doing the brakes. Yeah, the brakes were being stubborn. So the calipers had seized. Not being driven more than 4,000 miles in 20 years.
Yeah.
So...
didn't you have an issue with the E46's brakes as well, with a rounded bolt?
Still a problem. Still haven't been able to get that off yet.
It's really strange, isn't it?
It makes no sense. Like, Project 944 Episode 1 is like one of the top ranking videos for 944s. If you type in Porsche 944 on Google right now, we rank 3rd.
That's fantastic.
And
then that only snowball effects from there on out, isn't it?
Well, this is it, but the problem is because we've got one video that's got like 25k views, we now have to try and feed every other video from that to try and get them to trickle down. It's very, very difficult.
It's very much how they say capitalism works. It just stays at the top one and it's supposed to trickle down.
But
it never does.
Yeah. It is not your platform, it is our platform.
So with regards to Project 944, what are the next plans? What's next in the pipeline? Now that it's back on the road and it's able to be used, where are you going next?
The next big work, bodywork.
Yeah.
That's the next big stuff. The reality is that before that we need to do more work to the engine, more work to the kind of gearbox and that kind of stuff to get that happy. But the next stage of Project 944 is definitely bodywork. I've been saving for a year
to get the bodywork.
Ready.
So which bit is it? Obviously, for those that don't know, it was unfortunately rear-ended, so there's a dent on the back. It's not a substantial dent, but it's made more of a problem than it looks because inside it's moved things about a bit.
Yep.
Is that the main focus?
Well, that's the main eyesore.
Yeah.
So if that's gone, the car looks like a car again.
Yeah.
Like you look at that, you look at it from that side, you think, okay, it's a little bit tatty, but it looks clean. You look on the other side, as soon as you see that rear dent, instantly your mind goes, it's not as valuable anymore, if that makes sense. So the dent is the biggest thing we want to do. But I think what's going to actually happen is I've saved up, I think, enough that we can get the dent, we can get the front arches redone, and maybe a blowover.
Right.
So we could end up having a pretty good looking car by spring next year, maybe.
Which in real terms means 2025.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, because anything we say that will be done within a few months gets done within a few years.
Yeah. So it will be a super classic by the time you actually get the work done. And it'll be worth 3 times as much. And then getting it tidy will make it even more valuable.
It's alright, by the time that it's completed, I'll be able to apply for tax exemption on it.
Yeah. Well, it's what, 89? So my Renault's an 85. So I've got 4 years and I can get tax exemption. So you're only like a little bit behind.
It's right. It's only a few years and I can put black and silver plates on it.
I think there's a law that says you can't. It's only like pre-70.
Yeah, before it used to be if you're tax exempt you can have it on the car, but you're right, it is pre-80 something now.
Yeah.
So
because I love black and silver plates.
Black
and silver plates on our black and silver car would be brilliant.
that would look lovely. Yeah.
It's just finding a bloody personalised plate that's pre-C reg. It's almost impossible for anything that I need. Like, I can get a nice 2002 plate that has a real good message on, but then I've only got the 86 or my other half's car, which is Skoda Rapid. She's not that bothered about having that any branding on it at all. And if that wasn't a T reg, it was a C reg, then that'd be better, but then that wouldn't work for the branding.
Yeah.
Because it's not called Takona.
It could be.
Well, then it would just sound like CAC.
Yeah.
Which isn't really the message.
Yeah, not ideal. No.
Because it'd be CAC on and then like GT86.
CAC on your 86.
CAC on your t-shirt.
Well, that's it for this video. If you want to go and watch the rest of this particular conversation, we cover loads and loads of different topics. You're more than welcome to go and follow Takona. That is at Takona_official on the majority of platforms, whether that be Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Definitely worthy cause of you guys go and follow. That video will be up at some point, and I will also tweet that out on my Twitter and Instagram at Liam D. Friedman on both. Until next time, guys, take care.